All right. Well, welcome to today's show, folks. I'm Keith Riddle, co-host of Chestnut Checkers with Jordan Tampien. And today our guest is Brooke Baker. I'm super excited for this episode.
Hi, friend.
Yeah.
Welcome, Brooke.
Thank you for
Thanks,
agreeing to come on this.
Yeah. You guys
Crazy
were,
venture here.
You guys were drinking when you picked me, I think. You're like, oh, let's
We've been
ask
drinking
her.
the whole
She's-
time. We're sponsored by Brick West Brewery. It's a good time to name our sponsor.
Actually, we've never named the sponsor.
We never have, actually.
Exactly.
We just drink it.
It's subliminal sponsorship. We're just
We're
like,
trying indirect marketing. We're seeing if it works.
It's working.
If you just see it and you're like, oh, they're not selling anything.
well,
That's
and
gotta be good.
I'm like a YouTube guy. I don't know why I like YouTube so much, but it's mostly, I think it has to do with hunting and fishing.
Probably.
But not everybody is, right? So I forget that the podcast, like people listen to it on like Apple or Spotify, where they're not
Most
seeing
people
you.
listen. Yeah.
Right.
So then I'm always like, do we like say things that only make sense to people who are
Yes,
watching,
we
right?
definitely do.
You know, and then people who are listening in their car, like, what are they talking about?
Yep.
So I'm holding a nice cold beer
Gorgeous.
from Brick West Brewery,
Late afternoon filming,
Crispy.
obviously.
who is our default
It's
sponsor.
nighttime.
But
It's night.
yeah, so anyways.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
guys.
Brooke,
Yes.
what is new? Actually, for all of our listeners that don't know Brooke Baker,
Yes.
give us a 2-second intro on who Brooke Baker is.
That's deep. No, I'm joking. No, I'm excited to be with you guys today. I am the CEO at Baker Construction and Development. here in
Congratulations, by the
Spokane.
way.
Thanks,
Haven't seen you
guys.
since that announcement.
Thank you.
When was that announced?
About 62 days ago. So
New.
60 days, 4 hours,
exactly.
and 12 minutes,
things are
actually.
great.
Yeah, not that I've been counting.
Actually, I noticed it by your dad's photos traveling, and then I'm like,
Yes.
oh, it was his time. He's ready.
Oh, it was so, that trip for him was perfect.
So this
but-
is newer, though.
Oh.
So what was your previous title?
Yeah, so my previous title was Chief Development Officer.
Okay.
So been with Baker for about like 13 years now. And, my dad was brilliant with like the succession planning piece of this transition with myself.
I
with
should talk to your
Lucas.
dad.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to like dump it on my kid, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
Here's
here you
your
go. No, but like this was a super intentional move between myself, Lucas Holmquist, and Brian Valiant. My other partners. So
Yes.
they're amazing. So yeah, we've been planning for this for quite some time, and then we did the official transition January 1st. So here
Nice.
goes nothing. Yeah, he's like, I'm handing you the keys to the Porsche, so keep her upright, But
Yeah.
no, we're so lucky. Like our team is just incredibly strong right now, and now we just got to keep feeding the machine.
Nice. And for
That's
those
awesome.
that don't maybe know construction, what does Baker do?
Yeah, great point. So we are a commercial general contractor based in Spokane, and we build and develop projects throughout the Western U.S. So licensed in 12 states, 70 employees. We do about 120 million of in-place construction throughout the year. So we build a lot of apartments, partners with Keith on a project, which is really fun.
Yep. Hats off to you guys.
Thank you.
It turned out great.
Yeah,
Both
thank
of you guys.
you.
Kudos.
Yeah.
It's really
Now
good.
that's my subliminal opportunity for marketing. I wish I had like a Baker beer that I could like
A
this is
Baker beer.
Yeah.
Dude, maybe we can
make that
white
happen.
label
We
it.
can make that happen.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys know anyone that can
We
help
can
me?
make that happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love multifamily. We love senior care, industrial, retail, financial institutions. That's just been a part of
Yeah,
like
you
our
guys are
survival. Is,
awesome.
like,
So
being
I'm
nimble.
gonna plug you really quick because
Yeah,
like you
please
guys
do,
just
yes.
did a project for us, and honestly, one of the best outfits I've ever worked with, and I don't feel like thumping my chest, but I've been doing this 20 years, and you guys are awesome. So
Thanks,
I feel
Keith.
like that says
I really
a lot.
appreciate
you know?
that.
So
Yeah, thank you.
But so
My team is strong. I mean, I get to say thank you. I was like involved in the very beginning of it, but like my team is the reason why you're saying that.
for
So,
sure,
Thank
and I don't necessarily mean you're that awesome, Brooke. I mean
Right.
your
No,
team is
yeah,
awesome.
no,
Specifically
not me
your team is what
personally.
we're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we could rescind that.
You're all right. The
Yeah.
team's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. No, I knew
No,
meant.
you guys are awesome. But
man.
I think you just brought something up that is worth noting that I didn't know for a long time. But like in the commercial world, it's actually not too uncommon for contractors like your guys' self to specialize more in like apartments than medical, or more in like medical.
Sure.
Like there's certain people that are like, we do hospitals or we do medical stuff. So like,
Right.
obviously you guys can do any of it, I'm sure. But
Yep.
like, where do you guys kind of try to stick, or do you?
It's
Or am
such
I
a-
just making things up?
No, you're not making things up at all, Keith. I think it's a good point. So basically, we've been around since 1951. So my grandparents actually started our company, and kind of our journey is really a story of like survival. and just keeping the business, in survival mode is what I mean. So we just have had to adapt and follow whatever market was hot at that time.
So it wasn't your dad that started it?
No, my grandparents did. So out of Swift Current, Saskatchewan, we started as a real estate, and then in Saskatchewan, we started in real estate and insurance, and then they had an opportunity to actually move the company to Wenatchee. So they moved to the States in the 60s, and there was an opportunity there to actually do Quonset hut construction. So with the agriculture boom, they got into construction and started repping.
Quonset huts are like those big domed things, right? Like it looks like a
storage,
like apple storage,
half a round
potato
barn
storage.
type thing.
Yeah. So they had that really great opportunity to move the family to the States, and then moved again to Spokane in the late 60s, early 70s to actually become Baker Steel. So there was an opportunity to become a steel provider and erector. So we were just Baker Steel, so just doing steel buildings. And then into the 80s, to survive again and follow the market, we saw this need to become a full-fledged general contractor to not just do steel. So the market was saturated, time to kind of change the game, if you will, and do other types of projects. Fast forward into, I'll just keep taking you through this journey, boys. Let's go.
That's the next question.
Guys,
so
we're
you're
in the
already
90s.
you're ahead of us.
Crack another beer. We're in the 90s now. Opportunity to become developers. So lots of clients that we are working with, we're saying, gosh, we'd love a new facility, but we're publicly traded or have capital restrictions that don't allow us to do that. So my dad went, oh my gosh, okay, cool. We'll build the building for you and lease it to you, and we'll do a partnership. So that's when retail was actually like super like hot too. So then enter early 2000s, we did a ton of retail and did it throughout the Western US. So a ton of Starbucks, Big Five. You guys remember like Radio Shack, those guys. So they were buying Walmart pads and then taking those things down and then doing little, neighborhood retail type facilities there.
You said buying Walmart pads?
Pad sites. So like out in front where they have those retail spaces, they sell those off. So Walmart actually buys everything around it.
They buy like the whole big parking lot, and then they have like little restaurants or little like strip mall things around.
Purposely,
So
because then they're saying, hey, we're drawing.
So Walmart pads is like a nickname for them.
A pad site is
like
a term.
Sorry. So think of it like
I just want to make sure Walmart doesn't own everything.
They do. They do. They just have different ownership names.
Yes.
Yeah, they probably patented that.
And
that was obviously before my time, but that was like a super smart real estate play on their side. So, and then fast forward to 2025, ton of healthcare, ton of just basically to survive. And from 08 to 09. Which is obviously a really hard time for our company. We went from doing 48 million annually to 24 million.
Jeez.
So, and it was our repeat customers that really like carried us through that huge transition. But that's always been the name of the game for us: is stay nimble. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't get over your skis though. Like, don't say that you can I can't go do a skyscraper right now. That's not in our bailiwick. But don't be afraid to enter new markets. So enter student housing for us. That was like, a decade ago, and led us into hotels and multifamily. So there we go. There's our story. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, thanks.
No,
That's
that's
pretty
just
good.
the start. That's just the start. So grandparents, and then your dad took it over, and now so you're third generation.
Yeah.
And
Easy.
It's no pressure at all.
Don't screw this up. Don't,
like the
don't
Gonzaga
ruin
Bulldogs, you can't ruin
everything
every
our
record.
family has worked for 3 generations.
No, it's
Brooke.
no big deal.
Yeah, he left you in a pretty good time too. That's a strategic exit plan.
It was smart, and he honestly, his big joke with us, with Lucas and Brian and I, and we rule as a triad. So I am CEO, Brian is president, Lucas is executive VP, but executive VP. We don't rule like a iron fist like that. And my dad's never been like that. We've always been a part of like executive decision making, and I think that's another reason why we've been really successful.
When did you decide that you were going to even do this? Like, I'm sure, like, I'm assuming you went to college after high school.
Yep.
And did you major in construction management? Or
Great question. So I went to Wazoo. So go Cougs.
And
I did business. I did marketing and international business.
Okay. With the intent of coming back and working for Baker someday?
Nope.
Or nope?
No. I actually always thought I was going to go into the aerospace industry. So I did an internship with Boeing when I was a senior in Pullman. It was like the coolest experience with their marketing group. So, and that's when they were marketing the Dreamliner and getting ready to launch that bad boy. And that's when AOL was around, and it was like this big campaign to go on AOL.com and vote for what you were going to name the Dreamliner. So anyways, fast forward. I didn't end up doing that.
You're dating yourself now because
I
AOL is
know.
like dial-up internet.
Can we do it? Brendan, do we have sound effects
Had
right
to ask
now?
Jeeves on that one.
Yeah, ask Jeeves. I use that reference all the
I
time.
use
I'm
it all
like,
the time
just go
'cause it's
ask
funny.
Jeeves. And people are like, what is that?
It used to be funny. Now it's dating.
No,
So
it's
I'm
still
like,
funny.
"Oh."
Bring it back.
Now it's
I'm also
dating, yeah.
bringing back like, what's up? I'm bringing that back. So that
I feel
can
like
be
that's a good mission to be
Yeah.
on. You can bring it back.
So back to Keith's question. I apologize.
Yes.
I did that, and then I actually came home in 2008, and I was living with my dad and my stepmom, and I was waiting for my 6-figure job
Offer. You
with
just like, yeah,
company
because you're a
rigs,
marketing
and
major at
of
college, so
course,
people are just
I
like, come
am
work for me, and
primed.
here's your
And
prime.
the offers didn't come,
Yeah.
and my dad had a friend that was actually staying with us for a couple nights in the insurance gig, and he came in and said, "What about insurance, Brooke?" And I'm like, "No, ew, gross. That sounds boring." And he said, "I have a friend that's actually opening up a scratch agency on the South Hill. I think you'd be great." And So chat with her. We hit it off. It was great. I actually worked for State Farm for 5 years. So
I
helped
didn't know
open a
that.
scratch agency. Yeah.
Brooke
I
was
learned
State
how
Farm.
to, I loved it. I did
Catchy.
office work for Catchy. Yeah. Jake was taken apparently. So no. So 2 years in the office side, I learned how to cold call out of a phone book, like genuinely, like we opened with no policies or household. So, and we didn't have any money. So we were just like, I learned how to cold call out of a phone book, and that's
So
how
were
I like
you
learned how to talk to people.
were you an insurance agent or you just worked there?
Yeah,
you
I
were.
worked for an agent, so I wasn't technically like my name wasn't
You
on the
weren't
side.
the
I was
agent,
just,
but
I
you
was,
worked for an agent.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they took me to corporate, and so then I worked for the corporate office for like 3 years as a consultant, and had 30 offices and a couple hundred team members. So I traveled around, and I mainly focused on acquisition and retention studies. So I had my 6 and 63 too, so I was helping with like rollovers and kind of like those financial conversations, but a lot of software stuff and mainly just culture stuff. So with my agents, and then I had a really great opportunity with them to move back to the Palouse and open up some agencies of my own.
Oh, nice.
They thought I would connect with the college kids well, and I think I would have too, but my heart just wasn't there. So sat down and talked to my dad and his team about, joining the company and what does that look like. And they said, "I think you do great, but girl, get ready." I mean, just eyes wide open, and
And
we
so
had
this
that like
was how long?
conversation. I think like 13 years ago now.
13 years ago.
Yeah. So started
then
at the bottom and just sales, and it was like I was the first like BD hire, business development hire in a while. So I kind of just took it and made it what I wanted it to be, and my team was instrumental in like giving me that freedom and coaching me and like putting me under their wing to just make it what I wanted it to be. So I'm super grateful for that. So yeah. And here
That's
we are.
awesome.
Thanks, man.
So now you're the boss.
Allegedly.
Now you're the
Allegedly.
chief executive
Title says so.
officer. So
Yeah.
exclusive on today's show. Who gets fired
Yes.
first?
Exactly. Yeah. Who's listening? No, sorry.
No, so that's amazing. So
Thanks, man.
what are you guys working on right now that you're excited about?
Like projects wise,
Yeah.
or I'm excited. We've got some really cool assisted living facilities in the hopper. We've got a big one we're about ready to break ground on in Spokane, about $35 million, and then about like a $40 million project in Oro Valley outside of Tucson. So another repeat client. So about 80% of our business is repeat clients. And so now, I think it was like 76% last year or something like that. But we trend around that 75 to 80%. So taking us to those ancillary markets is huge for our growth. Like we're not like hunting for projects.
You said you're in 12 or 13 states?
Yeah, 12.
And they all are Western states, most primarily?
Contiguous and we were in Canada. We haven't done a project in Canada for a while, so we let that go. But WA Fed is one of our biggest clients. We've done over 300 locations for them. So just varying like scope, right?
And you see you have trade relationships with every sub relationships in 12
Jordan.
markets.
It's
Like
the
I was
biggest
thinking about
risk,
the other
man.
day.
It's the
I
biggest
know.
risk, right? Like, so we do in the major areas, and the ones that we don't, or that like we're rusty in. What we do is we send a superintendent. Obviously, he's going to be our boots on the ground guy to like do it. So, like for example, this assisted living facility project in Tucson.
Yeah.
And we've already vetted what subs we want to use down there, but we will fly down and actually interview the subcontractors.
Okay.
So we'll do the bidding process. We'll connect with their local ABC chapters down there and or whatever market that we're working in to get connected with the best subs.
What's an
interview
ABC
them.
chapter?
We're a member of Associated Builders and Contractors. A lot of GCs are. You can be a part of ABC or AGC. AGC is great too. Association of General Contractors. Yep. That's a good plug for both of them.
Yeah. More subs in the builder side, I think, than the
So basically, like,
just
again,
so you
like
guys are
the
clear,
subs,
I'm always going to ask questions
No,
if you
please
use an
do.
acronym
Please
that
do,
I
'cause-
don't know.
Well, sometimes
And
I
there's
just throw an
always
acronym out.
acronyms out there.
Just fact check. I just throw out acronyms to see.
Yeah. Well, I'm a part of the
TLA.
ABC,
Exactly.
and then we get down on
As
the
long as-
XYZ, and
yeah,
only on the
you
GPD.
know me. So
So you go down and you interview the subs.
Yep. Qualify them, make sure they're legit, and then actually do like client checks to like client testimonials and check them and say, did they do what they say they were going to do? And check in with the other GCs too, which is always kind of tricky because you don't want them to know that like you're doing a project in their backyard. But yeah, it's important to us to support the local trades down there. And from like a maintenance perspective to an operations side, we don't want to bring subs from Spokane to Oro Valley that can't service that client, take care of that client. It's just like a lose-lose for everybody.
Yeah, probably the greatest lesson I learned was we did Boise, Phoenix, and the other ones. And what you forget in that is I could just call Keith and get something done in Spokane. Right. In Boise, you get in line.
Yep.
And what I didn't realize was I thought, no, you're building a building. It's the same, right? You just go down, you figure it out, you build it, and it is not.
Yeah.
And I was like, it is not even close. Yeah. And I think one of those I was going to put a question on there because you're talking about those other spaces. Do you see more opportunity outside of Spokane and expanding that piece for you? Because I think it's what I want to dive in deeper, not necessarily in this question, but as you're looking, are you exploring those options more?
Definitely. It's a great question. My preference is to keep my guys as close to home as possible. They're happy at home and getting to go home every night to their family, right? Majority of my projects last year, we did almost 70 projects last year, and about, I want to say 92% were in Spokane.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's predominantly in Spokane.
I try to hunt at home and keep our guys as close to home. But again, we're going to service that client, take care of that client, go where they need us to go. Regarding opportunities in other markets, absolutely. Yeah. Plus, our state is incredibly hard to build in. So
super hard.
Just
on Washington's not cool.
On top of Washington state sales tax, obviously our energy code is just extremely stringent. And then it'll be interesting with the Washington State Clean Buildings Act, how that all affects us. So it's interesting. I get calls all the time from developers that are like, should I build in Spokane? Or it looks like 15 minutes away from you guys is like Idaho. What do you think about that? So it's always a really tough conversation to have. And I just try to put on like both hats and say, I want you to build in our region. And if you land here or there, we're all going to win. But it is a really tough conversation between Washington and Idaho, what you say there.
That's super tough. I mean, because
what do you say there?
Yeah. Oh, way to go, Keith. Way to put me on.
I mean, I'm curious because I mean, what would that conversation look like? You don't have to give me any details, but like, what would that conversation look like?
Well, basically talk about the need of their business and if they are looking for, rooftops around them as well, just ease of home ownership state to state is always a conversation that I have as well, and like how you're attracting people there. So I try to be Pollyanna. I don't ever try to shy away from a tough conversation. You can't in construction, especially being a woman in construction, you don't do that. But I try to just be as bureaucratic as possible with like pros and cons on both sides. And I just say, apples to apples, this site to this site, the delta would be about this, and just kind of present the facts.
Yeah. Have you ever built in Idaho or done a major TI project?
Houses, but no, I haven't done any sort of multifamily or new construction ground up. No.
Yeah, they're pretty easy to work with.
They're great.
Like just across the board, it's.
What is so? What about like labor and materials and stuff? Is it cheaper?
No.
More affordable.
Sales tax is the biggest one.
Yeah, exactly.
So but they have a state sales tax.
So they have an income tax.
Sorry.
So
Washington has a sales tax.
So Washington has on your total contract.
Yep.
Correct.
So it's basically at 9%. That is a very good point. So we've been talking about affordable housing. Condon talked a little about it. But one big thing you don't realize is that, let's say I have a $20 million project, 9% of that is a sales tax on top of the 20. So we're immediately adding $1.8 million that leaves our town, comes back in its weird way. But and in Idaho, it's all because it's on the whole contract.
Exactly. It's just baked in, but it is really jarring to developers that have never built in Washington before. And we've worked with some big boys that come to town and we look at their performance. We're like,
you missed the number.
Washington State sales tax. So I understand like our state's vision of trying to be as environmentally friendly as possible and carbon neutral. I love it all. We need more ways to make it more practical.
Well, it's just hard because we get rules driven down on us that are getting rents above the highest national average that then now have to be implemented in a town that is trying to keep up but can't.
Yeah.
It's old infrastructure, old buildings. Well, having a 10-year-old daughter, one of the ones I always wanted to ask you was, I think you've done it the best of anybody I've ever seen enter a market and really make headway, meaning biz dev's a cool word. What that really means is you got to go out and get business. You got a cold call. You're starting from scratch in an industry that is predominantly male, predominantly older male. What were the first years like? Like I have to imagine it's like get in your car and scream because
Dude,
somebody just mansplained something to you,
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, oh my god, what is happening here? You know what I mean? And so I'm trying to get some 3 tips that I can give
love
Lolo when
you.
she jumps into these.
That's a really generous compliment, first of all.
Well,
Thank you.
it's super cool. I mean,
I
it's the reason
appreciate-
Baker's everywhere.
Well, it's good team effort. But
Barry, if you're listening, it's one of the best pivots you did was add
Ah,
that piece, right? That's
Jordan.
it's huge.
I'm humbled to hear you say that. So I went from being like the subject matter expert making a lot of money to taking a major pay cut and just feeling like a complete imbecile when I started at Baker. I knew in my heart it was the right thing to do, but it was just a blow to my ego, just like anybody's ego. It's like the greatest human desires to feel relevant, right? So starting was scary because I literally knew nothing. Like I grew up on a job site, but I couldn't read the plans or do a pro forma or talk about the division. You know,
remember the
all
early
of
days.
those.
I
Yeah.
remember the
Oh
early
yeah,
days.
yeah, exactly. We crunched a few together.
I still can't do either. So.
But
you look good
Such a
doing it.
dork.
That's
Yeah.
the key. You look
Fake
good
just
doing
fake
it.
You're
it till you
doing
make it. I've been
wonderful.
doing this 20 years. I still can't read the plan set.
But there were definitely a lot of times where I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like that imposter syndrome of like, can you do this? And can you break? So the comments over the years have been funny.
Yeah.
I mean, they used to just absolutely frickin' just take everything out of me.
Yeah.
And I just all the way from like, you see my last name, it's like, oh, well, what Baker did you marry to get that job? And I'm like, okay. Or, so I
So
I
true.
take it.
I'm like,
you're
it's
the daughter. So did your dad not have any sons?
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have any sons? I don't know. You have siblings?
Yeah. I have a brother and a stepbrother, and they're awesome. My brother
nice.
works in our equipment
not as good
division.
as
He's
Brooke.
doing a great job. They're awesome. And just the little comments that like used to be jarring to me, now I laugh and I just like, because it's so archaic and so insane that now that I do for your daughter and my daughter and other women, just in business in general, it's like there's some things that I've learned that I'm like, I just like try to put in my mind and like lean in, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Such a good book. But it used to bug me. It doesn't now.
Yeah.
I'm a terrific poker player because I want you to underestimate me.
Yeah.
And I've played it to my advantage.
Yeah.
And I'll take my shot when I need to take my shot. But it's fun for me now. It's just like a challenge for me. But I feel overall very grateful that the community has been so good to me. The industry has really been good to me. And that the subcontractors that are our lifeline and my team that is our lifeline has like taken me under their wings and like coached me up and helped me and challenged me. The other thing, the best thing they did for me is they never treated me with kitty gloves. There'd be times I'd be driving home just like crying. I'm like, oh my God, dude, like, I don't know if I can do this and da-da-da. And they never treated me with kitty gloves. There were times I wish they did. Now I'm like, thank God you didn't, because it made me who I am and it made me stronger.
So
I
how
still
long
can
did
be
it
me,
take?
but a couple of years, honestly. And I
2-3
was
years.
like, 20s, like early 20s, just like still kind of like figuring myself out a little bit too and trying to find my voice. The thing that was hard for me was trying to not like be my dad, because he's my role model and he's my hero and like my everything. So like when I would hear him talk to a client or handle an issue, I would always try to like, I also just didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, just say it just like him. I finally got my confidence and kind of like got my ass kicked a little bit to be like, I don't have to say it just like him. I can do it my way and still have the same effective message. So feel grateful that him as a dad too never ever made me feel like just because I'm a girl that I can't do it or that I shouldn't be taken seriously.
What were like 3 pieces of advice you would have given yourself? Like now looking back on it, what's like 3 things you would have just
Are
like,
we
if
allowed
you
to
could,
like swear?
I
No,
hope
I'm
so.
joking.
Yeah.
I already
I
had
mean,
one.
Brendan bleeps it out, so it's pretty easy. Keith swears all the time.
Gosh, Jordan.
I feel like I swear. I mean, I don't even know how much I swear anymore.
But like when I think about it, I
Yeah.
try to think of that advice to give my daughter, because if my daughter was trying to do the path I did,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what she would have gone through.
Yeah.
And like doors that were open for me that probably wouldn't have
Sure.
been.
Yeah.
And so
I
my
so
whole goal of
appreciate
doing
you
what I was doing was like,
recognizing
I'm going to
that.
open all the doors.
Yes.
And whether you want to walk through them, like, hey, you take the choice.
Right.
I think
And you earn it on
Logan's
your
going to be a
own
vet.
merit.
I think she'll end
Yeah.
up being a vet someday, and
Oh,
we'll buy the
that's awesome.
building maybe. But
Yeah.
but like I think that from you, it'd be
Yeah.
very interesting to hear, like,
Yeah.
because I think most people give up.
I do too, and it makes me sad because I don't want anybody to be jaded, woman or man. It's just like I think the piece of advice I would have given myself is just keep grinding. The good thing is I just did it, but like just keep grinding. Like your results and your performance will speak for itself. So when you have the little comments or like the bullies or anything like that, which I had all of that, just stay the course. you will win and you're going to win your way and you're going to do it classy. And I never did anything that was like underhanded, or I never took any shortcuts. So there's times it's like, man, I wish I would have had that shortcut or that opportunity to do it a little bit faster. But like now where I'm at today, I'm so grateful for that journey. It gave me an iron gut, big time. And the thing that I have appreciated about like how I've grown into my leadership style is I can still be hard. Like my dad jokes, I'm like his Beth Dutton, from Yellowstone, with like less vulgarity. And I like, I don't sit around drinking and smoking at work like all the time, but
all the time, sometimes.
you've seen me doing both. No, I'm joking. But I can still be like me, and I like to be light, and humor to me is my superpower. So I lead with humor because that's where I feel comfortable, and I like to disarm people and make them feel safe, and it's just part of me. So I can still be that person and be the CEO trying to keep the wheels on and get what needs to be done. So I think I would just say like, stay the course, keep grinding. I mean, that's like nothing profound, but
that is profound. I think it's easy to give up in that situation. It's easy to not be yourself.
Yeah.
Like some of my recorrections going back and like, I don't even know what version I was. I was a different version to every person.
Yeah.
Same thing. You're trying to adapt. And the only difference I didn't have was 2 generations ahead of me saying, wait, we tried that. That doesn't work.
Yeah, don't do that.
And so in mine, I'm like, nope, head down. I'm going to see how far this train goes.
Yeah,
and
the courage that you had to do it.
It's a courage and stupidity. It's a fine line that I walk. But I think, what were some things you would do? I try to get down to the practical matter because there's some stuff.
Let's do it.
Me and Keith talk about it, like how you actually literally get through that hard. It's easy to gloss over that moment and say it's 1 to 2 years, but you had to wake up every day for that 1 to 2 years.
The thing I worry about for my kids, and I think even society in general nowadays, is we're so like, we want our stuff now, right?
Yep.
Like we don't have the patience that we used to have, and it's bred into our technology and our phones and our things. We can get groceries delivered. It's like, so for my kids, it's like it's hard because even like innately, even when I was a kid, and I grew up in the 80s and 90s, I was impatient with my success. Like you work hard and then you want your results to show up like the next day. And in the business world and entrepreneurial world, it can be like years or months. And so there kind of has to be, when you talk about grinding or these like kind of pop culture words, people, I think the embodiment of it for me is just like, I try to wake up every day and do what I do the way that I do, because it's the way that I should do it regardless of how the results show up.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, like kind of like fighting the fight for the sake of the fight. Like as cliche as that is, it's just like, listen, I need to be honest with people. I need to be direct. I need to work hard. I need to, and if you do those things, then everybody will tell you like the results will show up. But there's a part of you when you're doing it where like the results aren't showing up and you're like, but maybe I'm the one that doesn't show up for. Like maybe I'm doing all this work and I go out of business or I go broke before it ever shows up. Because I think that for me anyways, that was a real like thing in the back of my mind. It's like people still go bankrupt. Like people still go under. So like we can tell ourselves all the time, like, hey, get up, work hard, just do what you need to do and everything will work out. No, it doesn't. No. It doesn't always work out. So you have to kind of have this faith of like, it is going to work out. And I think that telling kids that, like, I think like our daughters are similar age, but my daughter's 11 is like telling kids that, like, they're like, yeah, but I went to practice today and I still suck at shooting the basketball. And you're like, well, because they don't have any framework, like, because everything in your life takes you once or twice and you're good at it, or they start to figure it out. And so you're like, well, no, actually, sweetheart, this is like you're going to suck at this for years. Like,
totally.
And you still got to put in the work. And then they go, well, I don't want to do that. That's not fun.
Yeah.
And I think unless you have this underlying passion, like you have 3 generations of your family, like whether you say it or not, I'm sure you're like, hey, like, I got to put in this work.
There's
I don't want to be
to that, honestly. I have no pressure. I'm
and
like,
so,
yes, you do.
I mean,
but I know
I'm
what
saying
you
from
mean.
a expectation standpoint.
And
Like
I think what for me, it's like the thing that like drives me every single day is that like I want to bring it for my team, and my team brings it for me. Like with Lucas, Brian, everybody, my dad, like everybody performs at such a high level that really does drive me. That I don't want to let them down. Yeah. And then the pressure of feeding 70 families, that part is hard, but I love it. And I think that it's a team effort. I keep saying that, but I mean, that's like our culture. Like our team is our greatest advantage. So it's just innate in us to speak like that. But doing the right things. I mean, you're never going to have all the answers. So from a financial perspective, trying to stay nimble, stay out of debt, remain scalable. Those are kinds of the things that we continue to just like have on the forefront. And as a GC, you guys know this, but general contractors and restaurants, highest rate of failure, as we all know, nationally.
Yeah.
And so not keeping enough money in the company is a lot of the big threats that we face. And then again, subcontractor that takes you under is the tough thing there. But I think I'm with you, Keith. I'm a little concerned. Like the younger generation is just about like, I want it now. So I hope that we as parents and as a community, like can continue to keep doing like what you're doing, and your daughter will be perfect.
Well, and
but
I say this, but I think like the reason I say it isn't like, because it's not their fault.
right.
But
right.
we've developed a society where things are more immediate. And so my whole, I guess, argument or conversation there is, it's just like a muscle that doesn't get exercised like it used to.
Sure.
And so like, I know for me as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, it was hard for me, but I also know that like growing up, like I had that muscle exercise a variety,
Yeah.
right? Like it was exercise quite, like results weren't always immediate. Technology wasn't what it was. Like, so there was hardship and things. So then when it kind of came time to dig deep, you have this reserve to dig off of. You're like, oh, this time is like that time. Right. And I'm worried for our future generations, for my kids, is like, they don't have that time.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, this is hard. This time is like no other time. Right. Or very few times. Whereas at least we were all like, hey man, I rode a bike without a helmet, right? Like I fell down, I had scraped knees all the time. Like, you know, growing up, you had sports, you have these different kind of things, but outside of sports, I guess I bring up at this point, I don't know that we have a lot of those situations that kind of manifest that time for people like that you used to.
Well, I take somebody now, and if I were to put a version of Lolo in your seat there, she would have left after a year. She would have been tired of people talking bad. She would have tired of like all those parts. Like there's not this ability to get through. And the best example I have, like great run up, probably the best 8-year stretch I've ever had, putting deals together. Well, then it got hard for 2 years, like really hard. And to the point where like some of these aren't working. And so I went to one of my mentors that could have easily just wrote me a check and got this solved. And I said, hey, this is where I'm at. Like I'll make it. And he goes, nope. And I was like, what? Like I've helped you, I've done all this. And then I sat back in and I'm like, that journey from that day to today will make me the person I'm going to be. And you 100%. Miss that because everybody doesn't want the pain.
Right.
And somebody said, you got to sit in it. And I started looking, I'm like, I don't think I've ever made Logan sit in pain.
Right.
She cries and something happens, or she's disappointed,
and I was like,
parenting, and it's like this instinct, and so it's kind of my fear is that
because it
she'll
feels
get into
like
a
you're
hard
being
situation.
a bad parent.
It
It's very counterintuitive parenting. It's like,
well, it's because either you didn't have it, and so you're trying to say, hey, I want to replace this scenario for you, and it wasn't until I've literally gone through this last little bit where I'm like, oh man, that makes sense,
right?
Like if I would have stopped at any given point there, and now I'm like, once on the other side of this, it's what can we do to make those right, make the next things right, and really build. But my fear is that most people will be put in that hard situation, and it'll be like, nope, it's too hard. We're gonna go this route.
It's for a frame of reference, right? It's like the Mr. Miyagi scenario, right? Like he's teaching Danielson like paint the fence, like wax the car, and to Danielson it's like all confusing, right? He's like, well, I don't want to polish your car anymore. I don't want to do whatever. And like, you know, it's Hollywood or whatever. But I think in life, we don't necessarily, and what it is it's a manufacturing of a difficult experience to give them the experience of persevering and getting better and going through it that they might not understand at the time and that they think is punishment. It's very hard to kind of like manufacture those situations and
to help with their journey.
Yeah, and kind of when you're going through it, because it's fun, like I hope one day that's how I talk about mine. It's like, I got started in the first year or two were tough, and then it's been really good ever since, right? And you gloss over the 2 years you had to wake up every day and face that scenario.
Right.
And so when I look at it, it's like, what was it? Did you lean into people and relationships to help you through? Was it something you just like mentally got tougher?
Yeah.
And so made it easier? Because now it's easy because you're confident. You can read a plan. You can do those things. Like that makes sense.
Right.
But the reality is like, what got you through that like first 2 years?
Yeah.
Because crying in the car, I've had that one before, and you're like, God, it's all
like,
falling, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And just in that moment, you're like, it's so in your head is so much worse than it really is.
Always
but
is.
it's the imposter syndrome that it's just like, can I actually do this? And getting that confidence. So no, I think it was a combination, Jordan. I think it was talking to people outside of my dad too that were much smarter than me. One of the best pieces of advice he gave to me and had me do when I first started at Baker was go talk to our community leaders. Tell them who you are. I'll help you get your foot in the door. It's up to you to bust that door down, right? And earn their respect, but I'll at least get you the introduction. And I sat down with them and I took notes. I said, hey, Linda Elkin. Hey, Jack Heath. Like if you were me or Sue Horn, I have so many names of community leaders that took the time to just listen to me, and I was nobody and I'm still nobody, but I'm just like to take that time to sit down, and I just was like, if you were me and you're just starting out, because really I was established, but in a completely different industry, and I wasn't established like in this business side, right? Like the private side, back at the insurance and financial side connected, but not in this way. And I listened to what they said, and I actually like did it. And one of the pieces of advice I was given was, and I'm like, how do you get involved? Like, how do you like get on boards and da da da? And somebody just said to me, just start. Like, stop with this like paralysis analysis. Analysis paralysis. I always say it backwards, which actually is even funnier.
Points delivered.
But I hit it. Go Cougs.
I think it works both ways.
Yeah, I do too. Actually, thank you. Get out there and just get your ass out there and get started, because that is the best way to get connected. And when you pick a topic, and for me, this was many years ago when I had actually just left State Farm and I was coming to Baker. I was still doing a lot with Blessings Under the Bridge. So I had a huge heart at that time, like for the homeless. I still care about the homeless. So it makes me sound like a jerk, but I was for like 4 years straight under I-90, 4th and McClellan, feeding
we gotta
them
have friends
on
then.
Wednesday
You know Michelle
nights.
Allen? Michelle might have started working there after, but she's a big supporter of
Good.
Blessings.
I've been gone for many, many years. Jessica Kovac is a good friend of mine still, but I have been really checked out for a while. But I got started with them and met a lot of great people. I met Jonathan Mallahan under the bridge and became friends with all these people. Got invited to join the United Way Emerging Leaders Society. Got to know Manny Hockheimer. Got to know all these like great people that are just like us, that are just like trying to get connected and serve the community. Fast forward to today, I've done hundreds of millions of dollars of deals with those people that we were doing. Like we were at the Martin Luther King Jr. Family Outreach Center many, many years ago, like sorting clothes for kiddos and doing smoke detectors for what was it? I can't remember the group, but anyways, like all these different planting trees for the Boy Scouts. Like I have years and years and years and examples of doing something just to get connected and meet people and do the right thing that has translated into business deals, like organic, true things that you're not doing something like that to get something out of it. You're just doing it because it's the right thing to do. And it will naturally translate. People will see the real you. People want to do work with friends. They don't want the person asking for the handout and the shortcut, right? And it's like we've done enough deals, right? Like you see that person from a mile away. So that advice of get out there and ask community leaders, if they were you, what they would do. That was like such a monster moment, and it was so simple, but a lot of people would have just said, well, I'll just talk to a couple.
Well, and then the caveat there is that you have to listen to them.
Yeah.
And then you have to do that, you know.
Small detail, right?
Because it's...
no, they're so brilliant. Like,
Well, and I guess this is the other thing is, like, they are brilliant, and they will share information with you that is so...
Yes.
unbrilliant sounding.
Sure.
They're
and you're like, there's got to be
volunteer
like a
somewhere,
secret.
get involved, and you're like, listen, I'm trying to make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Exactly.
Here. I don't think you understood my question.
No, let me ask it a different way.
Listen.
No, that's the truth though. Like it's the exact truth is like you think that there is some
big secret
huge,
you don't know.
Like what are the big boys doing and what's the good old boys doing? How are they doing? They're friends. Like they just started and they grew together and they took care of each other and they were good, like loyal to each other and taught each other. And that's really what business is all about. I mean, right? If you just think about it, be good to each other.
Well, and I think that's the mystery or not the mystery, but that's like the magic of everything in life, right? It's always so much smaller than you think. It's like brush your teeth, sleep well, exercise every once in a while, be honest. Oh, you want to be successful? It's like these things that they taught you in kindergarten.
Are still applicable.
Isn't it wild? Yeah, keep your hands to yourself. Don't hit people
Mind
on the
your
streets.
own business, right? Pay attention.
I'm always honored and humbled when somebody like wants to take me to coffee and they're like, how did you get where you're at? And how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm there. So when somebody says that to me, it's always like really a cool moment. But I try my best to take those coffee meetings and take those lunch meetings as much as I can because those guys did it for me. So it's like in terms of like that whole pay forward and pay it forward mentality, like somebody took the time to do it for me. You better damn do it for somebody else that asks you for it. And again, if it's on them, like if they don't take your advice or they don't pick anything up that was profound to them, that's okay. But at least you gave them your time. I think something that my dad says that I always really love is like be nice to people on your way up because you never know when you're going to see them again on your way down. So you treat your right. And it's so true, right? And that's easy for us.
Say it one more time.
Okay,
be
ready?
Nice. Yep. Sorry.
Be nice to everybody on your way up, because you'll never know when you see them again on your way down. I know. Barry Baker. But I actually don't know if he actually coined that, but let's just go with it.
I think it was Nietzsche.
We don't need to. Yeah, I think it was.
He's at home listening like,
Aristotle.
no. Yeah.
Very profound. But he, whether it's the janitor or the CEO, it's like, man.
And I will give your dad that credit. I feel like he is that guy.
He is, right, Jordan?
He's
yeah.
the nicest human.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
He's
true.
a good man. So I feel lucky.
So you're like, so nowadays people call you and they're like, Brooke, will you go to breakfast with me and I can pick your brain?
Yeah.
So like I always, depending on how much I like the person, when I have these meetings, like full disclosure, sometimes I'll just give them like totally mundane things. I'm like, well, every morning you have to stand on your right foot for 20 minutes. And then you say these 3 things.
Seriously?
No.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
Like,
But
do you
wouldn't that
play
be
bingo?
great?
Because you got to play
Like,
bingo every Wednesday.
Yeah, you got to play
And-
bingo on
yeah.
Wednesdays. Stand on your right foot every morning.
my hard part is now finding the time.
I know. And
Like,
that's,
it's the
you
hardest
feel
one
like
is you
such a
know it, and
jerk,
it was that
like,
piece, and you want to be that conduit. But
Yep.
the reality is you got to still keep the world turning.
I got to keep
your
that
world,
machine
right?
fed. Yeah. And then I've got this little thing called a family.
Yeah,
It's
that
just
little
small
thing.
detail. I'm lucky. My husband is such an amazing support system for me. So he works full time too, as you know, Jordan. But he's a spine rep. His name's Steve. He's amazing, and we're both working like crazy hours. And so our daughter London, she's 4, almost 5. She turns 5 on St. Patrick's Day. She was our
Nice.
little, my little good luck charm. But it's hard. I mean, so it definitely takes a community. And I mean, even this morning, I'm running late to my first meeting, but it was important for me I try to do her hair every morning. If Steve can take her to work, which is pretty rare, or take her to school. I like that I call her school work. I'm like, London, you got to go to work,
It's
man.
her
You got to
job.
go.
It's her
Go.
job.
Do you say that to her?
No, but
I was like, I'm going to start that now.
no, but she does have a laptop. It's a
Logan's
fake
worked
laptop, but she's just like, I got to do my emails. I'm like, I think I'm creating a really bad little
Creating the monster.
thing here, but we slow down, and I do her hair in the morning. So I'm like, even if I'm late, I want to do my daughter's hair. And she's like, Mom, can you pick me up early today? And I'm like, I'm going to try so hard. And just, it's just those really hard moments that you look at yourself, whether you're a mom or a dad, to say, am I giving you everything I can? And Sinead Voorhees from Whitworth once said this in a speech that I love. She's like, when you get home at night, don't give your family your leftovers.
Yeah.
She's like, you brought it all day long at work. You brought it for your employees. You brought it for your team. Don't give your kids and your husband your leftovers. And I'm like, gosh, that's so profound. So Steve and I try to do that at night. We're both
I'm
just
gonna lead into that
freaking
one because
exhausted.
that is my greatest issue. How
You
do you do that?
cannot.
How do you do
right.
that?
Right?
What
Is
are the ways
everybody
you do
recording
that?
Well, you just
this?
don't give
Can
them
I get
anything,
paid
Jordan.
for
That's what I'm
this?
saying.
Yeah,
By the time I
you
get
just
back,
go
I'm
to
not
Not going to
sleep
give them the
and-
leftovers.
I was like,
It's
this world
hard.
took it all from me for
I think-
12 hours.
I know, right? And you're like, I just scrapped it out.
What are things you do? Are there intentional things you
the
do to make
intentional-
sure?
Yeah, we're
Whether
trying to do better on this. We're doing awful date nights, pre-schedule your date nights.
Yeah.
We're trying so hard, get a sitter and just go. We're failing on that right now. Finding the
Something
time
always
to
comes
do
up.
it. Something always comes
Something always
up,
comes up.
and so that's what we need to get back into is the date nights, and then just talking about it. So, I think that's something that I feel very grateful for him and I on is just super open dialogue, even when it's I'm exhausted and let's just talk about it.
Yeah, I went through a phase for a long time there where my wife would ask me when I got home, she's like, how was your day?
Right.
But I just didn't want to talk about it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I lived
yeah,
it and I
right.
don't want to relive it.
Right.
So the
Right.
answers became fine or
Sure.
good or all right or
Right.
oh, it was a doozy.
Yeah.
But there was a point where she was like, you literally never tell me. I don't know
Yeah.
what you do. You leave the house,
Sure.
you go to this
Sure.
magical world
Somehow you
called
come back
work.
tired. Yeah.
But it's hard. Yeah.
And it was so it was intentional. I had to literally be okay, let me think of 2 or 3 things
Yeah.
that I can share.
Oh, that's
Right.
good.
I'm
Oh, that's a great idea.
This was a bummer, or this was good. Actually, I heard this the other day, and I thought I haven't done it yet, but it was these 2 couples started talking about when we come home at night because they would vent
Yes.
oh my god, my
Yes.
boss is a jerk, or
Yes.
oh this project's
Yeah.
they made an agreement where they came home and that you had to tell each other the best part of your day.
I like that.
And so it was when you came home, the premise was already there. It wasn't how was your day? Or it wasn't
Yeah.
hey, what totally screwed up happened today? It was no, what was the best part of your day? But she said 2 things happened. One is now the conversation's positive.
Yes.
So you're creating a positive vibe
Yeah.
at the dinner table or
Yeah.
at home when you get home. And but number 2, she says it awoke their RAS, their reticular activator system, to be alert all day to oh my God, was that the best part of my day? Oh, that was kind of
something
cool.
to think
Or
about
oh,
to come
God,
home.
that coffee was really good. Is
Yeah.
that going to be the best part of my day? And so she's now all day long, I'm getting goosebumps.
I know.
pretty good.
I love that.
Of they're in tune to like how positive or good
Yes.
things are,
Yep.
and then I can't wait to share this.
I love
So
that.
I just heard that. I was like,
I
man,
love that. I'm
stealing
going to start doing that. The other thing we don't do is we're not allowed to say I'm tired. Like we just had this thing where we're like, of course you're tired. I'm tired too. And yeah, so instead of saying it, because we're all tired. So stop saying it. Why would we take the I'm tired?
Yeah.
Of course you're tired. It's a given. Say positive. So
Yeah, we had to
Makes
stop
us
saying
sound
I'm
like really-
busy, so I got rid of that term.
yeah, you can't.
Because I was
Oh.
like, Jordan, you're so busy. We never thought to call you, and I'm like,
Right.
well, yeah, but that's on me now
Right.
at that point.
Right. If you're setting that.
Yeah, the hard part in ours was it grew so fast, and then it was
Right.
like when I got home, it's like I don't want to dump this all on
Right.
you,
Right.
but I do want you to know about it. So what happened was I wouldn't say anything. For
you
Keith's point,
held
it's like
it all
you just hold it
in,
in, and then all of a sudden we're 7
Yeah.
years later, and she's like, "We own what buildings?
Right.
Oh, we're
Right.
doing what thing?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, I messed this up."
Right.
Like I took
think-
my greatest asset, my wife, and
Right.
turned her into a bystander
Right.
in this journey.
And not along the journey.
And,
Yeah.
and what you miss the most when it gets hard is you need that
Oh.
person. And what I'm realizing is now we're playing that catch up, and it's super
Sure.
interesting, but it's funny. Fitness and that relationship.
Yes.
First two things I took for granted.
Sure.
And you're like, wait, so what if I got through all this?
Yep. I know.
What if we built all this and all of a sudden heart attack
Oh my
or
gosh.
health
Yes.
or hey, now we're
Yeah.
distant relationship. So to your point, I think it's easy to say, hey, let's just do that. But it's like
Right.
date night's up, but I got an investor that's flying in from New York on Thursday
Right.
night.
Right. And we got to make payroll.
Right. And it's just weird and
It's
people don't
so
talk about
hard.
that side. Like, so anyways,
feel-
but that's a really good one, Keith.
I
That's
like that. Yeah,
It's
the
a good way to
positive.
start the conversation, even like you said, when you get home. Because otherwise it's like, because
said,
ours
yeah.
is how was your day?
Right.
Yes.
And how was your day opens
Yeah.
up a
Oh,
like
gosh.
Pandora's box of like,
And it's
which
hard.
part do you want?
You really want to know?
Yeah, exactly. How much time do you
Yeah.
have? Steve is involved obviously in our real estate deals too, and is a partner of mine, of course, like the development deals that we do. So I'm lucky that like he's interested in that, and I want to talk to him about that and the highs and lows. And he was a superintendent at Baker for many years, so he understands the volatility in this market and just this business. So I do feel lucky, but I do vent to him and kind of offload to him so much. It's a little bit harder for him with me because his medical brain, he's like talking about stuff during surgeries that, and like just scary moments or And I'm like, yeah, that sounds awful. And I'm going to watch Bravo now.
Yeah.
Like, I have my sweatpants on and I'm going to escape. But yeah, so no, I think it's, to your point, it's like, you got to put in the work and talk, and they are our greatest assets. Our families are the best. We need to redo the love languages. We did the love languages a long time ago, and I loved it. And we really leaned into that. We need to do it again, just like a refresher course.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to pivot us a little because I'm interested in your take on it. We've been talking about affordable housing from me and Keith's perspective, which is obviously awesome. And then David Condon gave his. But I'm interested to see a contractor's perspective on how we generate or create affordable housing, because the build cost is a key component to it. And if you see any, that's the first question. Then if you see a relief, or what does that horizon look like for you? Because my crystal ball says those costs are never coming down.
Correct.
Which means,
Okay, wait.
Yeah, I know.
thank
I'm like
you.
cracking
So,
up.
but I'm interested in your take, because it's one that I think we're going to keep diving into.
Yep.
And just getting takes, but the contractor's perspective is the most intriguing.
Yeah, good question, Jordan. So the majority of the multifamily deals that we are doing right now are, a lot more capital down, right? The developers, to make them work now, just put a lot more cash down to get the debt service where it needs to be. So I'm seeing that a lot more, just like a lot more cash down, nothing profound there. And then from a scalability perspective, our projects are actually just getting a lot bigger from that, the Costco theory, like build more, be cheaper per foot and all that. So that's one thing we're seeing. I'm seeing a lot of creativity, I will say, with the financing, right? And different opportunities for grants, whether at the state or the federal side of things, with people bringing in those kinds of dollars, which is a little bit new to us. I mean, we've done HUD, we've done all that stuff, but like we just need to brush up a little bit more on some of those mechanisms and, those capital stacks and kind of how some of that structure is happening. But with pricing, you're exactly right. While dimensional lumber is back in line and the majority of everything is, we don't see it going down. No. So the cost of commercial construction went up 36% in COVID, and we're like sitting
That's
right there.
insane.
So yeah, I mean,
That's
it's
insane.
just
Has it come off that
a
at
little
all?
bit.
I don't know that
wages
but,
kind of
like,
caught
the
up
labor-
in that gap
right.
there.
Yeah, and that's what's been real hard. So it is like, at least multifamily, the margins are razor thin right now. So we're trying to find different opportunities for cost savings and things like that. And my pitch, and all of the contractors listening, I'm sure there's like hundreds of them that will be listening to this.
There's 6.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm gonna call them. Yeah.
You know, telling developers to get their contractor involved upfront in a project with the architect is critical. Like trying to go that traditional, like true, you know, go get the plans done and then go bid it out to 3 GCs it's hard. I understand the spirit from certain developers' perspective of just like doing the hard bid in the old school way, but getting somebody in the driver's seat with you and the architect that really understands the components to it, the MEP side is huge to make these projects pencil.
You said another acronym.
Mechanical, electrical, plumbing.
MEP.
Yeah.
The 3 most
like we did
expensive
for
parts.
Garland.
Yeah,
We did that.
for
And
those.
we had our budget up front and designed to that budget. Right?
And for the people listening that are not as familiar with this stuff, I mean, it's fascinating, and so you can kind of geek out on it a lot.
Super
but,
fascinating.
One of the things, and just going back to this exact example that Brooke brought up, is like literally changing out like the cooling system in a unit, right?
Yep.
To go from like a wall-mounted system to a boiler system in a building, or like any one of these variables in one of these big projects can like completely change whether or not it's like green light or red light.
Totally.
Like it doesn't work.
No.
Okay, it works again.
Yeah.
Oh wait, now they won't let us do that, or this. It's like
And we can't raise the rents. Like you can't.
right.
The
It's
market
on
does
point.
not support
It's like
it.
it's gonna cost what it costs to build it.
Yep.
Within a certain variable, and those variables are you can only change so many of them, right?
Right.
And so I think the other thing that's interesting is when you talk about that that inflationary number of like 37%. Like I don't know that people really conceptually understand like that's so huge. Like that's more than it should have adjusted
what's
in
an average,
20 or
3 what?
percent increase, like year over year.
Sure.
Year over year is what, 5 maybe?
Gosh, Jordan, I don't know. Yeah, probably like
Probably
5.
3 to 5.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they bake in. So
that's
35,
that's
7
10
times.
That's 10 or 12 years of inflation that happened in like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then
right?
adding on top of that, like just lead times, right? And suppliers deciding to then take it upon themselves to completely ruin the system. I mean, there were some legitimate lead time issues throughout that whole time, right? Like legitimate.
Like when did you guys
backups
get your
and-
main disconnects?
Oh my gosh!
So
like
I've already
24
ordered them for a project I don't even have ready
24
to go
months.
yet.
Yep. Get in the hopper.
Yeah.
It's interesting. We did a really cool project for Parkwood Properties. Awesome guys over the Coeur d'Alene. It's called the Timbers Apartments.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm talking
I know
about?
Timbers. Yeah.
Beautiful apartment. We were
It's
building
really
that
beautiful.
throughout the middle of COVID, and we've never done this before. We were buying our lumber by the floor.
Yeah.
To time the market. So normally, like get it there, get it on site, panelize, work with your framer, blah, blah, blah.
expensive, right?
But like we were buying it by the floor. I mean, so throughout our country's history, our world's history, you find different ways to work around it. But those are some really interesting times. And again, but who knows? We don't have the magic ball or the. But again, get with your
tariffs won't
team
help 'em, but,
early. Yeah, those are. I'm not worried.
I know,
Tariffs,
you
no
shouldn't be.
big deal. No big deal.
Just our lumber and our drywall.
Just everything
Kind
to
of a
build
big
our
deal.
buildings.
Yeah.
No big deal.
That's all right.
We'll figure it out.
We'll build yurts again.
Yeah.
But hey, we're gonna go full circle,
Quonset
and we're gonna come all the way
hut.
back to Quonset
Yes,
huts. I'm telling you,
we can
made
do it.
locally here.
We can do it.
cheap.
But people will still be building.
Yeah.
People will be building. People need a place to live. People need a place to work. Like construction will be static. It'll be a little bit slower here and there with certain markets, but construction will keep moving. The key is stay creative, stay nimble, be in front of the right people.
I think my biggest fear of that scenario is like you were talking early on about, like what people are having to do to make it work now with a lot of these projects is find like government,
The
like
creative,
tax subsidies,
Right.
or
City
like, hey, if
incentives.
I build it this way, then I'll get green energy credits for this, or I will get subsidized on my taxes for this. My fear is that we're creating this like self-feeding ecosystem of like developers are like, hey, I now need these credits and these government sort of like issued things to make this deal pencil.
Sure.
But now the government's enforcing these programs so it's like this self-feeding ecosystem. Like, well, pretty soon, isn't it? I don't think it would be a good thing if the only way you can build things is with government subsidy, right? Like it goes like farming, like which is something I'm very familiar with because my family's farmers. But it's like government subsidies have just screwed that world up. Like we're going to pay you not to farm stuff. We're going to pay you wait, please grow this,
Wait,
don't
start
grow
it up
this.
now.
And it's like, oh, by the way, you did everything right, and then we put an embargo on this country, and prices went here. Like they've really screwed it up to the point where like my fear is right, and my fingers are crossing is that like that doesn't happen to the housing world or the construction world, where like your attempt to create this affordable product and this green product now means that the livelihood of people who develop projects or even bring housing is subsidized by the government. And now you have to tax us. So we have to pay you for these programs so you can subsidize it back. It just kind of screws everything up.
Yeah, and you got to look at it too,
Is it that far down the line already, you think?
No, there's no strings. Like the stuff we're getting, there's not like strings attached.
Right.
Like they'll say, hey, 30% of your units have to be at 115% of area median income.
Yep.
Well, that's like
AMI.
$85,000 a year. So it's most of our tenants anyway.
Yep.
But kind of where I see that part going is without innovation in the building process, is that what the full circle here, if anybody listening is like, that sounds great. It's not that it squeezes margin, it's that the rent has to go up.
Right.
Like that is the forcing mechanism. So every time the city council says, hey, we're going to do tenant rights. And so we're going to add $150 to every building, every unit you own. And so you have to register this. What happens to that 150? It goes from them to me, to the rent, back to them, back to pay. And I'm like, the way we're going about it, to your point, is I'm not as worried about the strings attached as much as it is that it's a self-perpetuating problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Unless
That's
there's
what I was saying.
So I
creating
think we're in
an
a world of
ecosystem
innovation.
where,
Right.
Like I literally saw a video of a robot drywalling. Now, could you do a whole floor? How do you manage it? Right. I don't think we're like in that world, but it's trying to find out, are there creative, because prefab, we looked at it once, modular building it. It was $267 a foot, and I can build on site for $185.
Yep.
And it's just this weird gap, but the answer can't be, well, we're just going to stop building and wait.
Right.
So I guess I always, when I look at these situations, I wonder like, so is it going to be some new innovation that we haven't thought of? Or is it going to be one that we've already thought of, like the modular thing, but all of a sudden the technology and the ability to ship, whatever, just happens. So it's like, oh, now it's possible. It works. Like, so like everybody who's been trying to do this like pre-engineered wall structure thing, you know what I mean? Like starting a company, getting BK, going under, right? Next guy comes in, great idea. Like all of a sudden it's like somebody's going to do it and they're going to nail it because they just, the technology,
it's when labor
the innovations
gets too
or the
expensive.
shipping's there. Right. Or is it going to be some new idea? I guess that's where my brain goes. Is it something we haven't thought of yet? Or is it just going to be something where
3D
finally...
printing. Saw that one, 3D printing. You can put up a frame that fast. The issue is we have snow loads. We have freezing, thawing. We have where we live is really difficult. We have fires. We have fire ratings. We have old buildings that all have to be brought up to code. So you could come up with the coolest idea. Right? I could stack cans and put units in all of them. And then you go to the city and they're like, you can't build that.
Right.
So the hard part is you could have this innovation, but our system is lagging so far behind that it will never change it. So the only thing meaningful now would be subsidies. And so that was my hope, was that like eventually they're coming up with a new drywall that's faster to install, takes one labor.
Right.
Nope, that's not happening.
Right.
Electrical, nope, that's not happening. Less power, still need more things in there because now fire code went up, green energy went up. So now I have these ERV systems that pump fresh air, not open the window because that'd be way too hard. Pump fresh air. Well, you have them.
Oh,
Jesus,
yeah. I got them.
You paid $5,000 a door for those.
What's interesting
well, the
too
hard
is
part
like-
is like $5,000 a door is $15 to $20 a month in rent.
Right.
And I'm like, every time these get passed down, it's not the developer who's soaking the cost.
Right.
It's either stops development because it didn't work, or the tenant is now paying for this save the world. And I'm all about greener. I'm fine with it. It was just more of like, we assume when that's passed, the developer is going to soak up that cost.
Right.
Never happens.
And you can't.
Yeah.
Well, I always think what's interesting too is, like I said, been doing this almost 20 years, but it's like, I went in the building the other day, I was like, what's that? And then they tell you, they're like, oh, well, I'm like, when did we start doing this? Like now we have this, it's like, so is every building we've built for the last 200 years inept now? Like now we got to do this? Like,
It's like one of the buildings still here is a DOAS system. What does that stand for, Keith?
I don't know. DOAS?
Yeah. Direct open air system.
Direct open.
No. See,
Oh,
are
wait,
you
what'd
the
you say,
build? No,
dual?
you're going to have it right.
No, I was guessing.
Oh.
I actually don't know what it stands for, but it brings fresh air into the hallways of one of our buildings.
Let me Google it.
Yeah, I don't understand a lot, but
it's that piece where I'm like, I understand it. We're building these envelopes tighter. There's less air movement, so the buildings aren't breathing like they're supposed to be, right?
Here we go. Dedicated outdoor air system.
Outdoor,
We were both wrong.
But when I look at it, it's like, okay, I can see that makes sense. But then the issue is the same unit I'm renting for $1,500 in Seattle, it goes for $28.
Right.
Well, at $28, you can make that work.
Right.
And so I'm interested. Yeah. So on the construction side, in a 5-year horizon, do you see us building in a different way that reduces the cost to build?
I hope so. And
if you were a gambler, what is that piece of the build process that you would see actually accommodating that
Oh my
kind
God,
of a savings.
this is way too big of a question.
I know.
you
I
guys.
didn't write
I'm
this down
like,
for you.
dude,
This
that's
it
a
makes me think.
monster
You
question.
solve economic inflation
Yeah,
for us.
exactly.
Well, because
In
one other
5
one.
minutes.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been so fun. See you later.
Because I think they're like in the
yeah.
management
No,
world,
I
I'm
know.
like,
Yeah.
I know AI is going to help us
Yep.
with
Yes.
processing rents
Before
and
this
things.
started,
I
Brooke's
think
like, "Hey, take it
speed-
easy on me with the questions,
Oh,
right?"
I know.
And
You're
we're
like,
like,
another
Well,
news.
our other
Yeah.
questions
So
were,
since you have an
tell us
economic
about yourself.
degree.
Yeah, exactly.
World hunger, world peace. It's at the
God,
end.
I'm never coming
But
back.
I'm interested in your take because I'm
Yeah.
like, if I'm looking out on a horizon, what keeps developing besides we need the units outside of what Keith's saying, where it's fully subsidized somehow?
Right. I don't know.
Okay.
I'll be
so
straight up
nothing
with
on the
you. I have
horizon that
no-
is like this could
Not that I-
change the way we build buildings.
I mean, to me,
Because CLT didn't work.
we use it a lot still. I mean, we as
Like,
Baker
as a
have
full
a ton
building?
of experience. No,
Yeah.
but during COVID with long lead,
Say
we could
it. What
replace
is
for BW.
CLT?
Cross laminated timber.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
it's a structure,
Yep.
similar density strength as a concrete building. made
I
out
always
of
say
vegan
it like
timbers,
I
actually.
always
don't-
say it in like dumb terms. So
Yeah,
do you
Vaughan
have like
is
a tree
amazing.
and that's a log and that can be a
better.
beam, right? And then you have like laminate, right? Or like compressed laminate.
So even better,
Right?
yeah. So you're taking a
CLT
2x4.
looks like the little pencils crushed, right? Isn't CLT like look like all the
no,
little?
just take a big glue lamp.
Yep.
So all you're doing is taking 2x4 pictures, just stacking them together with glue, but with a tensile strength to hold the.
So
structure.
what's the one that's like looks like all the pencils crushed?
I
You know what I'm
don't
talking about?
know. I'm failing.
What are you building?
I'm failing on this podcast.
I don't know that
today.
one. No,
I'm
no, I don't-
failing you guys.
I don't know that, but like when ours,
But-
like, I remember Evan pitched.
Well,
It's like, hey,
plywood
let's do.
versus
Right.
OSB, right?
Yeah, there you go.
So some really cool things that we've done with CLT. We did Blockhouse, right?
Yep, which is cool. But
yeah, it
that
really
was your
cool.
price per foot of blockhouse.
I don't even remember,
Yeah, no,
Jordan.
that's Cody.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was so cool though, and that was
it's
the
super
right
cool,
product
right?
for that area too. Yeah, we've used it a handful of times. I think CLT. It'll be interesting to see that journey. I don't know of anything off the top of my head
Like
right now that I'm
sit
like in the
panels?
next 5 years. Yeah, but they're expensive.
Super expensive.
So
What about like the blocks?
I hate to say it,
concrete,
man. I think that
CMU?
the
No,
modular.
no,
What are
no,
you
no.
talking
The insulated
Eco blocks?
Well, the ones that you pour concrete in the middle.
Oh,
At a bit.
you're asking the wrong person. I'm just now like showing everybody I'm the world's worst CEO
No.
to be a general contractor.
No, you're really good.
Here's-
I
you're
just
here's
that's
what
all I do
I'm
is
gonna
study.
do.
You're
I
talking about
know.
the concrete.
You pour in the cavities,
Yeah.
but like as a
Correct.
developer, all
Yeah.
I'm looking for is a way
Right,
to
a
shave
different way.
$10
Right.
Yeah.
all
I
the
know.
time. Because if I
think
shave
for
$10, I
me,
can get better rent.
It's
to people.
process. So like what I'm going to try
there
to
you
focus
go.
on is my GCs, right?
Yeah.
Is my general requirements and my general conditions and being, I call the last, couple months of the project like closeout crew.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the red zone, right? So how can I finish it faster? It's going to save me money and it's going to
time.
save you.
Yep.
That's the best way. When people are saying like, what's your opportunity to get me, some money back? It's for me to get in and get out. Like
Yeah.
that, I'll make you more money that way and I'll make more money that way without making my subs life an absolute living hell,
Yeah.
right? I don't want to stack them on top of each other, but it's getting creative through that process. So that's a major way to save money.
Yeah.
I don't see that going anywhere.
No.
I think that's just going to get better and better as we get our processes better and better.
But labor's going to go up in each
Yeah,
part
it
of
could
those, right? So
potentially,
that's what
yeah.
you're saving.
So that you are, but again, time is the best way for a contractor to save a developer money.
Yeah. So your prediction in 5 years is the innovation we come up with is saving time.
Well, mine is
get
that
the
I'm not
cost.
smart enough to know right
Oh,
now,
you
like
are.
with technology,
You
exactly where we're
are.
going in 5 years from an innovation perspective. But my plan is to focus on processes, is to follow the market. Senior care will
Yeah,
continue
I
to be a
think so.
monster
so
industry for us. So I'm going to continue to hunt that. I'm going to keep working on aerospace, tier 1, tier 2 suppliers
Yeah,
to Boeing,
it's
like
really good.
in our market with what's going on with the tech hub and all those things.
super cool.
Yeah, and just stay in front of people. I mean, that's my game right now.
good.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
Easy.
interesting.
I got this.
No, you had that. It's a question that can't be answered.
It's a
it was just
great
more of like
question.
if you're when you're looking
I
for
wish
that.
I had something cool.
Is because we've target. I mean,
Yeah.
when we're thinking of affordable housing.
Well, it'll get answered. I think the
Yeah.
what I like, David Condon's point of view or Brooke, your opinion is just like kind of where people's heads is at
Yeah.
with
Correct.
the
Right,
solutions
with
that
the
are
top
currently
end. Yeah.
available. Like,
Right.
hey, based on what's currently available, where do you see this going? And I
Right.
think the reality is, if anybody had the solution, we'd be having a whole
Right.
different
Oh, yeah.
conversation.
This podcast would be
Right.
number one on the charts at that point.
Yeah.
So
We're climbing.
Yeah, we're climbing.
no, that's a super good insight on it. I think it's,
Yeah.
but a hard part of what I'm getting more of now is like you just keep developing these things people can't afford.
Right.
And I was like, well, it's not
Perform
that
a
simple.
bust
It's
after
not that
perform a bust
simple.
after. Yeah, you're like, it's
It's
not.
not like I wish I could
Yeah.
build them and everyone can rent these for $500.
Right.
But the
There's
reality
only
is
so
that
much time.
actual cost
Yeah.
to
I
get
feel
it
like
there.
Elon's going to save us, man. I feel
Nice.
like he's going to develop the Tesla of buildings and we're going to be okay. Like, I don't know. Like the guy, it's got to be some sort of like modular prefabs, shipping container thing. Like it's going to happen. Like as far as the affordability of it, like that's what I see. Like vision wise is like, I see throwaway housing is what I see.
Interesting.
I don't see. I mean,
There's some concepts like that out there that we're looking at.
and when I say
20-year
throwaway, I don't
timelines.
mean like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just, I just
And they're
think
super affordable and just like the pad prep and some
Well,
are stubbed,
and-
some are not. I mean, it's actually pretty
They're just
interesting.
switching them out. It's the cost of a turn these days.
Yep.
Well, and in the real estate industry, we have viewed, and I think the consumer has viewed anything modular or mobile as inferior
Correct.
products.
Yep.
And so lenders look at it as inferior, banks look at it as inferior,
Yep.
the consumer looks at it as inferior, and the real estate community looks at it as inferior. And I think that if we're just candid, it's really not
It's
at
not
this
inferior,
point.
yeah.
Like a lot
Yeah.
of the stuff they're building, like the insulation is just as good,
it's
the
really
structure is
neat.
just
Yeah.
as good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't impress our friends at a dinner party, right? So no one wants
don't
to
bring
like
it up
live in a
at a dinner party,
modular
yeah.
home or it's like so. But I do think that as you trend into the future, if that stigma, like you're probably better off working on that stigma
Yeah.
with people.
Right. That's
And
probably
getting
better,
people's
but- yeah.
eyes open more, like just, but it's the same. And I use Elon as an example, but whatever. But it's
Sure.
the same with electric vehicles. Like prior to the Tesla, like I
Nobody
wasn't
wanted
considering
one,
one,
yeah.
right? And then you start to see him, you start quality. Okay,
We
then
built
you're
a
like,
Tesla facility.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
that's
like,
right.
that was the first ground up facility in the country. So
Crazy.
it's kind of cool. Yeah.
that's really awesome.
Service
Where
center
was
and
that?
dealership, Liberty Lake.
Liberty Lake.
Nice.
That was a precast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a solution just to speed up again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well,
it's going to be interesting. This is a super crazy world, right?
Yeah.
Construction and real estate. It's like, it is not for the faint of heart, as both of you know better than anybody, but I love it. I love the freedom. Like I love seeing like
So,
cradle to
just
grave.
to-
like that whole process is like so
Yeah,
cool.
it
I love
is.
it. It's amazing.
Just to pick your brain
Yeah.
before we have to go.
Yeah.
Is, you talk about getting involved, mentors, going out, having coffee, whatever. What about politics? Like how politically involved do you have to get? And how important is that? Because that's the
a good
one
question.
thing I've
That's such a
seen in
great
the last
question.
probably 5 years of my life.
Sure.
Is like I would say 80% of my life I was like I will go in kicking and screaming and you're gonna have to drag me and I'm gonna get as
Yeah.
little involved as I
Yeah.
possibly can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
political because
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Sure.
And yet there's a point where you're like, hey, if you're gonna play this game, like it's actually like it's a prerequisite now. It's like the college class you got to take. It's like so now you're like, well, now I got to get involved,
Right.
right?
I think, yeah, great question. I think for us, like politically, the biggest way we've leaned in is like with ABC, like whatever associated builders and contractors are doing too, trying to get behind them, not whatever they're doing. I mean, that sounds really naive, but from a government action side of things, I mean, they really are, at least for us in our region, kind of like leading that. And so getting a good understanding from them, industry wide, what they're doing and trying to help us that way has been really good. I serve on a handful of boards where I serve with Republicans and Democrats. And so it's been really good for me and a good experience. Try to stay out of the politics. I mean, support candidates, sure, but I try to stay out of that and just, again, feel like to be a politician would be the hardest, most thankless job out there. I cannot imagine whatever side you're on. I think 90% of us
I'm gonna like promise
are
doing it right.
yeah.
Would be
Right.
would
Sure,
be that
good
way.
point. But I think 90% of us are right here. Okay. 90% of us are in the middle. And you got 5 hardcore, rights and 5 hardcore lefts that ruin it for everybody. I really do. I think 90% of us are here. And if we could all just come together and be a little bit more
Yeah.
meet in the middle and stuff. And again, that's such like a
Political
Pollyanna.
answer, actually.
A Pollyanna. It really is. Exactly. A Disney political answer. I
That's what
really
a
do.
future mayor
But
would
that's
say.
how I feel. Yeah, exactly. You never know.
I'm never counting
So,
that out.
but like,
I would fail. But like David Condon, I don't know how he did that.
No.
I could never. So you want to be involved. You don't want to back out and not be a part of the conversation and a part of the solution. But I think that there's a way to support everybody.
So do you see having to get politically involved as a direct, like if you're not, let me put it this way, if you weren't, how would it negatively impact you?
Good question. I mean, one of like this, my industry is from a government oversight perspective is extremely regulated.
Yeah.
So I need to be involved. Like in our industry, we need to, and we need to be
Yeah.
a part of. Again, that's why I just like leaned on ABC about all of the things that they're leading, and AGC too. But you need to industry wide. And then I think just like from a local governance perspective, you need to be involved as well. And your level of involvement can vary, but like to me, at least, it's actually like being on those boards and showing up for the meetings and being a part of the solution.
I guess one of my ahas as well is like going back to like your fresh air return. So here's I make up my own acronyms. I call exhaust gas return valve, EGR valve. It's on a car, but I'm gonna say in a building. So you go in, you're building a building, all of a sudden you have this like return valve of fresh air. The problem is like that's not the moment in time to question it. You're like, what's that? Why am I paying for that? Why is that in here?
Oh yeah, you're way upstream.
You should have been in the conversation 2 years ago, right?
Right.
When they were like proposing this and people were voting and like, but that's a lot of times when we're not involved.
Right.
So for me, the political thing is
That's
like
the hard part,
you have to
is
get
finding the
so
time.
far out in front of
Yep.
it because the regulations and the processes I'm going to be dealing with in 3 to 5 years are taking place right now, and I'm probably not a part of that conversation as
Right.
well as I should be.
Right.
Oh, look at the Clean
The
Building
Clean
Act.
Buildings Act. I know.
Oh Jesus!
I know.
I didn't even know that existed. And now technically we should be good on our buildings, but I'm thinking of like
only
5 buildings
only
downtown.
for a couple years, you will, Jordan.
No, I mean we already upgraded them.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
meaning
I'm like,
we
no,
already
you're
put the
gonna-
upgrades in,
yeah,
but like
good.
if you had
Yeah.
an older brick downtown
Our
building,
Sade Tower.
oh Sade,
Yeah, that's
that
gonna be
sucks.
tough. So
Yeah, CPACE loans. I should look at. So let's close it out. But like, what is your
Yeah.
take on Spokane in the next 5 years? Not construction.
You
Are you
guys.
bullish, bearish?
bullish, always.
And why?
Yeah,
Besides
just because I
your-
am.
And that we're done here.
World
You heard it here.
peace.
And bullish
Yeah.
means up, by
Oh,
the way.
sorry.
So I-
Good. Do you think it's going good? Do you think it's
I'm
going
gonna
bad?
bring this
I
down.
think
like,
people are engaged right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's a big reason for it. Is I think we have people at the table. So Keith, like to speak to the 2 years in advance to actually make that decision. I think people are more engaged than ever
I
right
think
now.
so too.
I think it's one of the nice
something's gonna
fallouts
happen.
of COVID actually.
Yeah, and I
Is it
think
actually
that,
got people involved.
I think so
I do
too.
too.
More so than
Yeah.
they're like, oh man,
Yeah.
like,
Yo,
big important
man.
decisions
And I
get
still-
made, and I'm not.
And I
talked
haven't
to.
been here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to the
Yeah.
lake the whole summer.
I think that Spokane, North Idaho, I still think we are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to quality of life, and you still have these, the people that live south of Boise that are moving up here. I'm just joking,
I know.
but no,
It's a good way to put it.
all of the folks that are moving here because they want to move here. I think we're not going to be slowing down anytime soon. I don't feel like that way. It'll be interesting. I mean, I feel like people are wanting genuinely like what's best for our region as well. So I do
agree.
think that could be like a big reason to feel positive about it. I think
Yeah.
we're always gonna have our challenges. That's just history.
That's part of it,
So
yeah.
I think
Oh.
people care.
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, Brooke, thank you so
Yes,
much
Oh,
yes.
guys.
That was
for
super good.
solving
No,
the world's
I
problems for us.
Said
And
nothing.
Yeah, I took
But
notes.
I
I
really
took notes. You
appreciate
didn't say
it.
nothing. So.
Well, I really appreciate you guys having me, and thanks for like doing this. And I think it's good that you guys set the table to bring diverse people together too to talk about stuff. So
I
appreciate
hope
it.
so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
yeah, absolutely. Till next week, you guys. See you later. All right, you guys. Thanks for listening to today's episode. While you're out there, would you please do us a favor and give us a like, subscribe, or a follow, whether you listen on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. Also, if you don't mind while you're there, give us a 5-star review. Maybe write a review. If you have a favorite episode, feel free to give it a like. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it.